Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I am your host, Respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast, we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. If you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notification so you will never miss another episode if you're watching this on YouTube. And then if you're watching this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else that you can listen to podcasts, please leave that 5-star rating. And thank you so much to everyone that has already done so. I really, truly appreciate it. So thank you. Another announcement, I am now accepting clients for my online coaching. If you've ever had questions, concerns, if your dating life is in shambles, if you don't know what's going wrong, feel free to reach out. I'm here to answer any questions, and then hit the link in my bio to apply if you're serious about transforming your dating life. With that being said, let's hop into the episode. I'm not gonna lie, this is my 4th time recording this video, so I am a little bit aggravated, but we're gonna roll with the punches. This video needs to be uploaded prior to, because I've already missed a week. I have been moving I've been moving to Tampa from Miami, and I am officially a Tampa Bay. This is not my setting, this is not my vibe, this is not my aesthetic, but I'm here in my mom's house. This is my room for the time being, and we're gonna live with it. We're gonna work with it. We're gonna rock with it. This is the deal. I'm only staying here for a little bit, okay? We're gonna get back on track. We're gonna figure out life. And then, I don't even know, honestly. I've been thinking about it. I really haven't missed Miami too much. I really am like, do I want to go back? Do I want to move somewhere else? Everything is so up in the air. Welcome to eclipse season, baby. So many uncertain things right now in life, but one day at a time, we're just going to figure it out. We're just going to let life, let go, let God, and it'll be fine. But anyway, here I am in Tampa. Didn't know what I want to record today, and then I realized that, hey, Gabs, your most viral video so far, or one of the most, I would say, is talking about my dating revolution that I've had recently on texting and what to expect when texting and what to expect in the beginning phases of dating with texting. And I do want to preface this by saying that texting is not correlated to how much someone likes you, okay? Say it with me. Texting is not correlated to how much someone likes you. Someone could be texting you every day, every second of every day, 24/7, and may have absolutely zero interest, or not zero interest, but like just kind of rolling with the punches. They're bored. They don't have anything else better to do. They have no one else occupying your time. You could just be a placeholder. They could be texting hundreds of other people, not hundreds, that's excessive, but a couple other people on the side just because they're bored, okay? And then on the other hand, there is someone who does not like texting. They don't like being on their phone. It's not their thing. They're an in-person kind of vibe. These type of people, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't like you, okay? They could just not like being on their phone, and then they're so much better in person. I had this realization that I came to at the end of last year. Well, I guess probably like this year, I've had this revolution, where I was dating this guy at the end of last year, and we had gone on a couple dates, and he was super great guy, super sweet, super gentleman, all of the things. And I realized that like while we were talking, anyway, before I even get into it, let me just preface this by saying, because I was dragged in the comments of my TikTok video saying like, if he's such a great guy, like why aren't you with him? Girls always say they want this great guy and then they don't end up with him. And to that, I have to say, this is my bar. This is my standard. I do not date anyone below this. I have zero tolerance for disrespect or the bad boy image. I'm cutting that really quickly. Just because this person is a nice guy, that doesn't necessarily mean that that person is for you, okay? I feel like a lot of time women are bullied into believing that just because he is a nice guy, you should end up with him. It's like, There's so many other nice guys out there, and to think that that's never going to come around again is a limiting belief that you may have, because it is going to come around again, and that's the only thing that I will tolerate and accept. That is my bar. We're sticking to it, and we're not dropping below. Okay, he was a great guy. One thing I really didn't understand, because I had been so used to guys texting me all the time, guys calling me. He never texted me, really, ever. And when he did text me, it was like, hey, hope you're having a good day. And I'm just like, okay, are you trying to have a conversation? Do you even like me? I'm so confused. And then we had stopped talking, and at the end of it, I was like, okay, what do I want next? And then I said to myself that I wanted someone who was sure about me, someone who was consistent with communication, someone who was just really all about me. And that's exactly what I got. Happened to be a love bomber. And before I even get into that, first of all, I did a whole episode on love bombing, so I'm not going to get too far into this. And if you want to check that out, go ahead in my last couple videos. But the thing with this is that we overuse the term love bombing a lot, and to be honest, this was definitely a form of love bombing. He had given me so much attention, love, affection, whatever, and then pulled it all away. I barely heard from him, and I was like, what just happened? This is what's going on? You said you literally wanted to marry me 2 days ago, and now I don't know where you are. Going back to that guy, I was just like, yay, finally someone who was sure about me. He texted me every morning, good morning. And to be honest, these type of people usually, not all the time, but usually are texting so many other people that you're not the only one they're texting. It's so easy to send a text message. Just because they're texting you all the time, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're the only person that they're texting all the time, okay? He probably had so many other people in his backup that he was texting. And matter of fact, he was, because he went on a vacation with one of those girls, and that's when he ghosted. Anyway, I had to take a step back from that, right? And I was just like, okay, what is it that I really want? Because first guy, super great guy, just didn't text me ever. Next guy, let me just rewind. The first guy, who never really texted me, he did call me a lot, actually. Not a lot, but he would call me when he said he was going to. He would pick up the phone and actually make plans instead of texting me. And to be honest, if you want to stand out of the bunch, if you're a guy watching this right now, please just give a little ring-a-ling. Just give him a call, because you will set yourself so far apart from the rest rather than just texting. Give me a call to make a plan. That is so, BDE for me. Yes, he never texted me, so I was just like, okay, what is it that I want, and why is it triggering that, I feel like I need more of his time and attention? I really don't need all of his attention. I don't need someone to be texting me all the time. I have my own things going on. I have my own life, and to be honest, the person that I want to be with is a driven individual who has his own life, who has his own interests, who has his own things going on, and goals that he's working towards. So where do I think that he has time to be texting me at all times? In the beginning, not when I'm in a relationship. Let me make that differentiation. In the beginning, I have not yet gained priority in his life. The thing is, when people go from 100, it's so hard to maintain that 100% of texting all the time. So inevitably, when that does dwindle down, it's you get anxious, because you're like, okay, are they ghosting me? Are they just not interested in me anymore? You used to be good at communication, and now I barely see you. That excitement has worn off, and it's so hard to maintain that excitement on a level 100 when it's kind of dwindling down. The best thing you can do is build up to that. When you're building up to that, you don't expect to have that text message all the time. And so when you don't receive it, you're not getting anxious. You're like, that's normal. That's a normal thing. Who cares if you're not so head over heels in the beginning. You shouldn't be so crazy obsessed and we have to talk all the time. All I'm saying is that you should not expect to hear from them all the time. If you do, great. If you don't, it's not necessarily the end of the world. I do know tons of people in my life that have that are in healthy relationships that started their relationships off with or texting all the time, whatever, then they ended up in healthy relationships. However, whenever you go from 100 to 0, if that person is texting you all the time and then they stop out of nowhere, take that as a sign that that person does not like you anymore. Take that as a sign that maybe this isn't for me, okay? Because they can't say after giving you consistent communication that they're bad at texting. Because I know for myself that whenever I say I'm bad at texting, it's usually because I don't like you that much. You're not a priority in my life at that time. But when I truly like someone, I will respond in a timely fashion. But that isn't necessarily the case for everyone. I think that a lot of people either say, I'm really bad at texting, and it could be one of two things. One that I just mentioned about maybe just not being that interested, or they just genuinely don't like being on their phones. And I think that's completely normal for someone to not want to be on their phones, especially if they are pursuing their own goals and they have their own life. Just ask yourself, how much communication do I really need in the beginning? And if you're not getting that, it's okay to ask for more communication. It doesn't have to be this like huge, heavy conversation that you have with someone either. Just asking them, hey, are you just not on your phone a lot? Or like, what's the deal? Because I think there is a time where it would be like a compatibility difference where you kind of, right, when you've been going on like dates and you've been conversating for a little bit, is their texting behavior matching up with your texting behavior? Down the line, are you able to get what you need out of this person as far as communication? Some people don't like texting all day. Some people love texting all day. And either there's no bad or good to either side. It's just what you prefer. But as long as you don't need that person to be texting you all the time, I think there's a difference between, hey, I'm texting you because I really just enjoy texting you, as opposed to I need that communication to know that you like me 24/7. That there's a huge difference between needing and wanting communication. But I do think that you should deep down ask yourself why you need that form of communication and how much you need it, so you know what to ask for and what to expect out of the person that you're dating. And if it's completely different, like you prefer to be texting a lot or you prefer calling a lot or FaceTiming a lot, and that person just does not like doing that, that might be a deal breaker. You know what I mean? Like that could be the reason why you guys aren't going to work out, because long term, you have to think down the line, if this person can't give you this down the line where you are, when you are actually serious with this person, are you going to be happy in that relationship? Are you going to have your needs met and fulfilled by this person? And if not, you have to be real with yourself that like maybe this is just not my match. But that is it for this week's episode. I hope that you understand the difference between going from texting you all the time to not texting you at all, taking that as a sign that they are not interested in you anymore, as opposed to having that slow build up in texting. If that is something that is important to you and that you want out of a relationship. Just because they are texting you all the time, that does not mean that they are not texting other people all the time. That does not mean that they are in love and obsessed with you. That does not mean that you are their person, okay? And then on the flip side of that, just because they are not texting you all the time, that does not mean that they are not interested. So I hope this video brought you some clarity, some different perspective in dating and texting. And that is it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, if you have not done so already, now is your time to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave that thumbs up, leave that 5-star rating. I appreciate each and every view. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will see you all next Tuesday.